What is up, everybody? Escape211 here, and again we are on the test server. You'll see my hanger is quite different today. We are going to be looking at the Ember 6. All right, this is lower end, and that's why my hanger is lower end. Man, it took a little while for that to actually click and go, but no biggie. The Ember 6 is a really interesting weapon. It's a shotgun-based weapon, and when you look at all the perk stuff, it's pretty much the same as any other shotgun. But it has some interesting mechanics to it. So it separates itself a little bit, but we're already seeing that this is an epic, so it's potentially, you know, going to be better than the frag gun. We'll look at that and talk about that. But overall, this stat-wise is interesting, considering that, you know, the damage per magazine doesn't look too high. The damage per shot does look pretty good, but it's a small magazine. You only have 2. And the way this magazine works, too, is that even though the per shot damage is set up this way, the first shot is weaker, the second one potentially higher, because the first shot will do overheat. Now, they don't say in here the chances for overheat. They talked about it being a chance in the devlog, but it pretty much seems like, at least when I've been using it, you're hitting overheat like every time. So if you're not hitting it every time, technically it's a high chance, and because you're going to be firing with both of these, you're probably going to hit overheat on your targets. Even at this level, when I'm at the 4-star, I've been hitting overheat. So, you know, you also want to add a 30% roughly to this damage because you're going to have that overheat, which is very handy. And the reload on this is insanely fast. You don't have implants for that, obviously, but you don't really need it because it's coming back so quickly. And the range is the interesting factor to me. This is a pretty short range, obviously, so even if you have a legendary range implant, the max you're going to get is 45. But it doesn't go up like the fragment gun does, so that it always starts at 30, so even out of box is 30, which is nice, and its optimal damage is a little bit higher. It also has a hit cone change over its time, so that means, you know, when you first get it, the spread will be wider, and then it will get tighter and tighter. So the potential for damage, even as you're getting closer to your max range, should be better overall. Just more of your pellets are going to hit with this gun. So that damage potential tends to get better as time goes on. Now, if you compare it to the frag gun, which is the closest cousin, I would say, you know, there's some things that vary. This is going to look like it has overall more damage, but that's because it has 5 shots that you have. You know, the per shot damage is, in that sense, lower if you compare it that way, especially when you add in the idea of overheat, right? So it's very interesting. As you can see here, the optimal range is lower. It also starts lower, and the max range starts lower and then goes up as you go into it, but not by much, only 2 meters. It's a tiny amount, but the hit cone stays at 20, and at the top end, you're going to get better damage out of the Ember gun. So you can see where the Ember gun is a step up from the frag gun, and that it has some overall damage potential, especially with the overheat potential you can get to kill targets and help your teammates kill targets. So it's interesting, you know, and we'll see exactly how it plays out here. I don't know if I'm actually going to do this at like top end because it's only 6 energy. And as a shotgun, there's not going to be great options for that. But I do think, you know, here in this tier, it's an interesting one. So I'm going to play it at the tier. I think it's roughly tier 3 is where it's going to fall. The tier 3 setup, and here we go. Ooh, all right. This map with the long range lanes are going to be tricky with this weapon. I'm going to have to hope I can get that center. I will put my build up for this, but it's not anything all that special this early. Just trying to keep what's... Oh, no. Mortars are ready. Just trying to keep what makes sense in the tier here. All right. All right. Guess I won't get this one. MD will. Man, it's tough running this Guardian because he's slow. Like I said, I did try this with Ares. And... even though Ares has a little bit more speed, closing the gap and losing the shield means like he can win a brawl, but he won't win much more. There we go. I think with Guardian, using my ability means that they won't have much capability to combat me, and I can kill them. Oh, I can't even quite reach there. I have a decent range implant, but not enough. I think I'm only adding like a couple meters. Oh, not going to hit me with that. Okay, I didn't know if he was ready with his weapon. I didn't want to risk it. But you only have jabs, so let's move in on you. Yeah, as you can see, I have... Oh, no. I have, like, overheat pretty much all the time after I land one shot. Gosh. That guy, I thought it would have been an enemy. All right, we're in good position though, just because we have the center. There we go, overheated already. Yeah, there is a little bit more delay between fire versus like a frag gun or something else like a shotgun, but not a whole lot. So the continuous fire that this thing can do means there's like no downtime. You don't have to worry about Guardian system crashing you. It's kind of nice. I like that factor of it. And I don't know if I said this before, but both of these... Come on. Get in my range, boys. Okay, that'll do. Let's do this. Come on. No! Oh, man, I don't want to get chewed up by that guy. I'm going to back out. I don't know if I said this before, but the way this gun works, it's like a missile rack where when you fire, it fires both in your chamber. But that makes sense if you want your first one to overheat and then your second to pile on the damage. So they kind of work in conjunction that way. Oh. No, no! Rocket mortar guy. Oh. Oh, he must have hit the ceiling. Oh, another rocket mortar guy. This one I can kill nice and easy. Thank you. Hello. The damage output on this at this level does not seem to be like fantastic, but it's also pretty decent. I'm also not getting an optimal range. I mean, like, I probably already said this is going to be ideal for like those scout late game fast mechs, which is pretty much the meta. It's hard at this early stage to make this weapon work as well as like arcs do, just because there's less forgiveness with the range. Come back over here. We'll get you. All right, there we go. I think that might be it. Okay, maybe not. I guess we'll just take this and then see if we get anything like that. There we go. All right, we got them all. Worked pretty well. I mean, a lot of potential here. I don't really know how good it's going to be, but I'm really curious to see how the later variants work with the kind of mechs that we have later game to take better advantage of this weapon up close. And there you have it, guys. Pretty interesting weapon overall. I mean, I think, again, in this kind of space, it can do pretty well in tier 3-ish in that space. I don't even know if it's better than the Arc 6s, though, because the Arc 6 range and the damage, especially at this point, anything at 4-star is going to do well. But I do feel like the consistency of damage in this with Ares is just better. I even tried this on Ares, and I just like the arcs better. I just felt like it played well, you know, played better there. I do think the damage potential on this weapon is awesome, though. And I think as we see higher variants, you're going to see better places for it to sit. This early, there's not a whole lot of great things at 6 energy that it's really going to be able to get in close with. You know, and I don't think like taking Shadow up to 12 energy is reasonable either. It's probably going to be something where, like, you know, higher versions will work well with like Eclipse or Surge or something like that, you know, as most close weapons do. So here it's going to be tough. So I would say the Ember 6 is probably not worth your time, but it's definitely a weapon set that I'm going to keep my eye on. And as new ones drop, I'm definitely going to pick up and see how they run. But you guys can let me know what you think about this weapon, and we'll see you out there on the battlefield.